Hello, everybody. Welcome to test automation and continuous integration using Salesforce DX. My name is Oscar Quintela. I'm Quality Assurance Manager for Altimetric, Salesforce certified. Let's see the session agenda for today. First, we're going to see quick concepts and tools for this, the ones that we are going to use for the demo. And then the concepts of continuous integration, just to have an idea. And Salesforce DX, we are going to see about continuously delivery pipeline before Salesforce DX and after Salesforce DX. Also, the flows for the CI. And then we are going to have demo for this, okay? After that, deployment environment comparison before and after Salesforce DX. And then session resource, and of course, the question and answer section. Okay, the tools. First one, of course, Jenkins as our continuous integration tool. Git as our version control system. JUnit for our reports. We can generate a report for this. Jasmine, BDD, JavaScript testing framework for our Lightning components. Node.js, we have Node.js here because we can create plugins for our Salesforce CLI. That little body in the corner is Nightwatch. I'm not talking about Game of Thrones. I'm talking about the UI end-to-end testing framework. And of course, in the center, Salesforce CLI. Okay? Let's talk now about continuous integration, okay? So let me tell you a story about this. So when I first started working with Salesforce 9 years ago, my tasks were push the code to the BCS, deployment, and check that we have that 75% of code coverage. And while I was doing that, I was a new guy in the company. And when I was deploying, my boss was right behind me, always, all the time. And he would ask me something like, hey, Oscar, how is the deployment? I would say, everything is good, boss. Everything is good. If it was not good anyway, I would say, it's good, boss. Just give me 1 minute, 2 minutes. And then, okay, but he was always behind me asking me that. So I started thinking a way to do all this, so that way I can avoid the CBC. CBC is the continuously boss checking. Okay? That happened me all the time. So that's when continuous integration comes to me to save my day. So I was very happy. So anytime my boss came here, say, hey, check your email. An email with the report was sent 5 minutes ago. So anything was fine. So for me, continuous integration is continuously pushing the code to the BCS to check that everything is fine and receive a report for that. So that's for me. So there's a lot of benefits for this. So of course, Jenkins will take care of running my tests. That's great. But also have some benefits, like, for example, if I want to have a code coverage report, I can get it. If I want to check the quality of my code, also, we have tools like PMD or sonars that we can use to get those reports and know the code coverage and the quality of my code. That's great too. And we can, merge our code. If everything is fine, the code is fine, automatically we can merge that code in the BCS. No need to do it manually. And continue the feedback, okay? If everything is fine, we will receive a report for that. And of course, we can, if everything is fine, we can deploy this to the rest of environments. Let's talk about, very quickly, is to have an idea, okay, about Salesforce DX. The Salesforce DX is a new developer experience. Okay, it's a new paradigm that brings us tools, features, and that will allow us to do service-driven development and help us with all the software development life cycle. Also, we are changing here the paradigm because we are moving from the OR-based development to an artifact one. Right now, the source of truth is changing from the production to the version control system. Okay, that's where we want to store our artifacts. If you are wondering what's an artifact, for example, aligning components, a set of objects, okay, is to have an idea, okay? But that's the change of paradigm that we have here. Also, we have a powerful command line interface that will allow us to do all this. We can do everything from there, okay? We can create controllers, we can use APIs, anything. We can create packages. That's really great. And also we can use the editor of our choice. We can use, if we want to, Visual Studio, Atom, Eclipse, the one that you prefer, Waking Suite, anyway. And okay, I was forgetting about the new feature that is Scratch Organizations. It's a new brand organization. Let's talk about this right now, about Scratch Organizations and DevHub environments. Okay, DevHub environment is where we can create and manage our Scratch orgs. Let's say that is our brain for all this. And then there we can, of course, manage the Scratch organizations, but also we can, for example, link namespace to our Scratch organizations. That's important for creating our packages. And they are disabled by default. Right now, for example, if you want to try this, you can create a free organization, a trial, or you can enable them in production organization. Okay, you have to go to setup, and there you can enable them. Okay, but what about Scratch organizations? This new organization is to create and run our code. The idea is that we can quickly create a Scratch organization, push our code, okay, and when everything is finished, we can delete it, and then if we need to work again, we create a new one for this. Okay, right now is our container of code. The hub is great. We can configure them as we want to. We can create a Scratch organization as an enterprise edition, a developer edition, and all by code. Right now, if you want to create a sandbox, a developer sandbox, we need to go to production environment and then create, and in a few minutes, we will have that new developer sandbox. But with this, we can create a new one very quickly. Just in less than a minute, we can create one. And we can, using code, we can say, okay, I want an enterprise edition, I can hide one, okay? And also, this is very important because here we can, before we will need something like an undeployed script or something like that to, to clean my developer environment. Now, I just delete the organization and I create a new one and start working with that. That's the idea. And also, we can sync our code from, for example, if I want to push my code to the Scratch organization, it's just a command, okay? Push to the VCS. If I'm doing development, point and click development in my organization, in my Scratch organization, I have another command that I can pull all that customization in my local workspace. Let's talk about a continuous delivery pipeline. Okay. Well, this is an idea, this is an example, okay? It can be totally different for you. So we have developers, a team of developers, okay? Each one with their own developer sandbox, okay? Each one of them have a branch in the version control system, okay, to work in isolation. Then we want to have a testing environment for our quality assurance. Okay, that's very important. Also, okay, we want that testing environment to be partial copy sandbox, so we can have a part of information from production for our test data. That's very important. UAT sandbox for our user acceptance testing. Okay, maybe there we want to have a few copy sandbox to have the big part of the information from production, and full copy sandbox also for stage sandbox environment. So if we want to do another round of checks before we move the code to production, we can do it there. And of course, production. Okay, so the idea is the developer is working, he finished the job, push the code to the BCS, Jenkins detected changes, pull the change, run the test, and if everything was fine, it will move the code to testing UAT and stage environments. And if we are doing continuous deployment, to production. Okay? Okay, after Salesforce DX, the idea here is that each developer, we have one Scratch organization, okay, or many of them, it depends, okay? They can create and delete them very quickly and easily. So, and we want to have also an automated testing environment for now, unit tests, UI tests, and all that. We want to have that. We want to maintain sandboxes. Sandboxes are important, okay? We still want to maintain them for our manual testing, UAT, and stage environments, okay? And the idea is that we push our code, we create our Scratch organization, push the code, and then delete it, run our test in the new environment against a Scratch organization, and then the deployment. That's the idea. This is a flow, okay? First, we need to authorize the dev environment, then create our Scratch organization. After that, push the source code to the Scratch organization, run our tests. Okay, after that, delete the organization and create a report for us. Lightning tests. Here, we will need to use the Lightning testing service package for this. Okay, it's a command with the Salesforce command line interface. Okay, we also have another difference here because in the servers, if we run this on a server, we will not have a browser. Okay, so we need to use a headless one, Phantom.js or Chrome with the option of headless to run this on a server. And if we are running our UI test, we will need to generate a password for this. We're going to see this, but the flow is pretty much the same. Is authorize, create a Scratch organization, push the source, generate a password, run test, and then delete the organization and create a report for all this. Okay? So let's see a demo for this. The idea is I will show you all the process that I mentioned before. Okay, I have a project. I will push it to the Scratch organization, do my development. Everything is done. I will push the code to the VCS. Jenkins will detect my changes, run the test, and generate a report for it. So this is a project that we are developing at my company. It's an evaluation application. The name is QuizForce. This project is in Salesforce DX format. So the important thing here is the following file that defines my project. Okay, here we can define namespaces, the source API, what is my code. So also it's important to see the following file. Is this one, the project Scratch definition. Using this file, we can say, okay, I want a developer edition, I want an enterprise edition, I want to enable Salesforce desktop, I want to enable Chatter. All that, we can do it right here. And okay, I have my classes here, my test controller. Also, I have my Lightning classes here. My Lightning test classes here. And if I want to define the list of classes to run for my Lightning test, I'm doing that right here in this component. Right here. Okay? Perfect. So I mentioned before that I want to use a headless browser, okay? If we see, this is important because here I'm saying, okay, use Phantom.js for this, because this is running a WebDriver I/O behind scenes. So this way, we can tell the Lightning Test Service package to run Phantom.js in my server, okay? Here we can define also Chrome or Firefox headless if you want to do it. And okay, right now I'll do a small modification to my code. I will push it to the VCS, and then Jenkins will detect my changes, and then run the test. Okay, I'm removing this line of code. I hope this works. I'm removing this line of code again. Let's see why it's not letting me to push this. Okay. Okay. Let's try again. Okay. The code was pushed. Okay, Jenkins detects that we have a change here. It's pulling the code and it's running my tests, okay? We can see this here, okay? First, we have the serialization right here. And after that, I'm creating a Scratch organization. This file here is the template that I showed you before. Okay. Let's see if we have a new Scratch organization here. Yes, we have. QuizForce application. And right now, push the code to the Scratch organization and it's running my tests. Perfect. We can see that with this line of code, it's running my test, and I want to have that report in JUnit format. It will take a couple of seconds to run this. We have a lot of test controllers. And after everything is finished, we will have a test report like the following. Everything was fine, my test passes, my boss is very happy with me, everything was fine. We have good developers at my company, so for that reason, we are doing tests. Okay, and okay, let's see if that finished. Yes, everything was fine. Okay. And also I want to run my lightning test for this, and it's going to be pretty much the same. Okay, again, everything was fine. Okay. So, and after all this, it will delete the Scratch organization and send the report to my boss. Okay, I didn't show you before the Salesforce DX command line interface. So very quickly, I want to show you this. Here we have all the commands. Okay. Also, at the beginning, I mentioned Node.js because we can't create our plugins. So if you see here, I created a JUnit merge plugin for this. Okay. What you want to do here is to merge the lightning tests and Apex tests in one report. So it's better this way for me. So if you know how to do, if you know JavaScript, you can create very quickly plugins for this. It's a great feature to have. Also, I'm trying to connect my coffee machine to this, but let's see what. But it would be great to have. So this is for Apex tests and lightning tests, but also we have the UI end-to-end automation tests. And here, our choice was to use Nightwatch because we can use JavaScript, you know. And also an option was WebDriver I/O, but finally we decided to use Nightwatch because we can develop test cases more quickly with this. So I will show you the following project. Okay, this is a Nightwatch test. The idea is this very simple. I want to test my login page. Okay, it's not so complex. This line here, I'm not using username and password because if you do that way, it will ask you for a verification code. Okay, every time. And in this way, you don't need it. For this, we are using the token, the access token. So the idea is that every time that I'm running my test, I want to generate a file with all my with all the information of my Scratch organization. The file will be something like this. Okay. Here we have the password, username, created date, expiration date. Also, we have the access token. The access token is the one that we're going to use for this. Okay, and the URL for this is this one that is commented. Instance URL plus frontdoor.jsp and the token. Okay. So I'm going to run this. So first step, create the Scratch organization. Okay, I'm not pushing the code for this because we don't have much time. So I just want to generate the organization, the password, save it to that file that I showed you before, and then run my tests. So this is opening Chrome. It's testing the login, and then we have the result for this. So everything works. That's great. I was worried about this. And so this is the idea for the UI end-to-end tests. I didn't speak before about the test data. That's very important. If you are a QA, you know what's important for this. So with Salesforce DX, a command line interface, we can export a set of data from our, from UAT or of our key environment as a JSON file, and then use it in our tests. So I will show you the test data for this. Examples. These are examples, of course, in JSON format. And if we want to add this data to our organization, we can use, let me see, the following script. Okay, and this data is going to be in our Scratch organization. So this is for the flow for Apex test, Lightning test, UI test. And we are missing a piece. Piece here is that our deployment to the rest of the environment. Sorry for that. Here. Okay. Okay. First, deployment between environments. Before Salesforce DX, we use anti-migration toolkit. Also, it was Java and Ant based. The configuration for this was very complex. And something happened that the password was not encrypted or well stored, so the password could be exposed. Now with Salesforce DX, we have the command line interface for this that is Heroku based. The configuration is very easy. And we use EO8 JSON web token for this. So this is great. It's a great way to do this. And let me show you an example for this. So last time when we were running our tests, everything was fine. And all the code was deployed to our QA environment. So here we have the result for this. But imagine that I'm running again my tests, and I'm deploying this to my QA environment. I will run this again. Okay, of course, this is the authorization using JSON web token. This here. Then we want to convert to the metadata API. We need to do this from Salesforce DX to metadata API. Okay? Then we want to deploy to the test environment. And here we can see the status of this. Everything was fine. And we have all the information in our QA environment for this. And here we can also check the code coverage if we want to do that. That's pretty much it. This is the session resource. You can contact me, LinkedIn, Twitter. Question and answer section. I'm not ready for this. I have to go. Sorry, yeah. I'm kidding. Yeah, sure. No questions. Thank you very much. Somebody understand me? Nobody? Okay, no problem.
How much time did it take for your development team to understand and adapt to this?
All this?
Yes.
Yeah, 1 month, Saturday and Sundays included. Okay?
What's the size of the team?
The size of my team is 10 people. No problem. I can hear you from here.
The Salesforce DX is a license one?
Okay, yes. If you have a paid organization, an enterprise, for example, you go to the setup, Dev Hub, you have an option there, enable Dev Hub environment, okay? And that's it. If you don't have one, no worries. You go to a web page, create trial Salesforce DX organization, and that's it. You have one, and 30 days, and you can try everything you want there. Okay?
The trial one is on a month. You're saying the trial one, right?
Yeah, so you can, send me an email or Twitter. I will send you the URL. Okay?
So you mentioned Salesforce DX is a Heroku-based. Hi, right here by the microphone.
Yeah, sure.
It's Heroku instead of Java and Ant. So does that mean if Heroku is down, DX is down? Like Heroku,
That's
the
a good
CPQ
question. I'm not
Okay.
working at Salesforce to give you an answer for
Okay.
this, but if you give me an email, I can send you that information
Okay.
later.
Yeah, because we have the same issue with CPQ. CPQ's calculations are on Heroku, so if Heroku's down, CPQ's down.
Okay,
So,
perfect. I will
yeah.
try to find you an answer for that.
Okay.
Probably it's that you say, but
I'll give you my
anyway,
card here.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's great.
So one more question. If
Yeah.
you have if you have a lot of integrations in the environment, how do you test those with the Scratch org? So that's not possible, right?
Sorry, I can hear you very, very well. You know, we both have accents, and I didn't understand you well.
If there are many integrations that you need to test, so the change that you are making is to test with an integration with, say, a portal application or a Java application or a ERP system. So you deploy your change to Salesforce DX org, a Scratch org, and Scratch orgs need to be integrated with other environments to test your changes. Is that possible with this?
If you are saying if you want to deploy, you can deploy, Apex code, Lightning code, but that's it.
Okay.
And then you run your code. Then you run your code. But the Scratch organization is only for Apex and Lightning, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that was the question, to run all the code in our Scratch organization, but no.
It's only for test class coverages, you mean? Mostly?
No, you can push all your code of development in Apex and Lightning in the Scratch organization, but that's it. You cannot deploy, for example, Java.
Okay. The testing is limited to the Scratch org itself.
To Scratch org, and for Apex, Lightning, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Are platform events involved in the detection of changes in a given org? And if not now, will they ever be?
The platform to detect changes, I created...
Platform events.
Platform events, what I showed you right here before was I created a hook between Jenkins and GitHub.
Oh, okay.
So every time I was pushing my code to GitHub, Jenkins will know about that. So that's the idea of what I showed you before.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
Hey, how are you? Nice to see someone from Uruguay. That's fantastic.
Luciano.
Luciano, correct. Yeah, based on importing data, can we import data that it's related? So imagine I would like, when I create a Scratch org, I would like to upload contacts and accounts, for instance.
Yes, that's the idea. That's the idea.
Okay.
You can export any kind of data you want.
And regardless if it's related or not, so not just
you
isolated.
can do it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Hello. What if your production org has a lot of managed packages?
Okay, that's a great question, because I didn't talk about this before. You can use, I didn't explain this because it's from the last release, it's second generation packages. And using that, you can do all this for your managed package, for your production environment or release environment for this. Okay, but this is new. This is from the last release. I didn't have time to create all the process. We are working on that right now, so.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. No more questions? Thank you very much.